Hey everyone, this is Black6 from BZPower, back here for another set review. Today we're taking a look at the first of our 2016 summer Bionicle sets that we'll be sharing with you all. We have got 71314 Storm Beast up first. He contains 109 pieces and retails for $14.99 US dollars. So we'll start by taking a look at the box. We have the same kind of branding along the top there as we did on the first half sets with the Bionicle logo and the Mask of Control with that kind of sickly green and the kind of explosion background. Of course, we've got Storm Beast taking up a good chunk of the front. We can see his head over there looking all kind of angry and bestial. Got some big claws, got all, uses the rib cage that we saw previously in the skeleton sets last year. Along the bottom, we can see he has in his tail Kopaka's mask, and something looks a little bit off with it. And in the bottom right, we can actually see what looks to be Kopaka there without his mask. And then along the bottom, we have the age range, 7 to 14. Yeah, I may or may not be double the max there, and we have his name. Going over onto the back, got all the fun legal text along the left bottom side. We have a 1-to-1 scale image of the infected or power drained, whatever it is, Kopaka's mask. We can see that this is a buildable figure. And then we have a nice little comic, so it's nice to see those are still here. We can see kind of Storm Beast is coming out of some smoke or mist, walking around. And then we have the powered up Kopaka comes to face him, and we don't know who will win. It kind of leaves that unclear. Then we see that if you have Storm Beast along with his companions Quake Beast, Lava Beast, and Umarak the Destroyer, you can combine them into one large set. And we can see we can get that at lego.com/bionicle/bi. So that's cool that we still have combiners. And then finally along the top, we've got the Lego logo and some images showing some of the play features in the set. This one, I think, of the Beasts has some of the most interesting play features, which is why I really wanted to pick it up. So that's enough of the outside of the box. Let's open her up and see what is inside. So, like the first half 2016 sets, the boxes are a little bit sturdier cardboard than the 2015 ones, but they do still bend a little, as you can see there. This set did come all the way from Denmark, so that is to be expected. So we've got the instruction manual, same image as on the front, Tahu telling us we can win on the back. And then we've got, of course, all the nice instructions. We've got the nice inventory page. It's really cool that Lego does this. I remember back in the day they didn't. So we can have an easy access at all the parts. We've got a cool image here showing Ikimu and Makuta, or actually, I guess that's probably Umarak, Ikimu and Umarak, facing off with a bunch of the Toa and Beasts on the bottom. We've got that same comic again, but in a little larger format, easier to read. That'd be nice to get some better scans out of. We've got another advertisement of the combiner and also the app on the App Store for Apple and Google Play, the Netflix show, and that's about it. So then, of course, we have got the pieces. So there are 2 bags, pretty average size, not numbered or anything like that. But I guess we'll open those up now and take a closer look at them. So here are the parts from the 2 bags. One of the bags had a smaller bag in it with all the little Technic pieces. We do get quite a good variety, as you can see, of different Technic pieces. Some small axles, some of the little ball joints that are now used in the Mixels, some half pin, half axles, and so a nice little variety there. Nothing too exciting though. Moving on to the next one. The one piece that stood out here is the newer Bionicle claw piece in transparent neon green. I believe this is a recolor for the summer wave, so that's cool. And we get quite a few. We get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those in here, so that's nice. Then we've got some basic Technic beams with ball joints, and then add a little bit of an angle. Some traditional Technic ball joint pieces. Got some of the friction extenders. We do have these nice pieces that connect on those Technic pin little ball joints we showed off before, and these will come in handy, I believe, for Storm Beast's play feature. And we've got quite a few other Technic beam pieces. Really quite a variety, which is kind of surprising to see in a Bionicle set, especially in the reboot. The first couple of waves have not really been all that Technic heavy, but this one definitely seems to be, which, may be good or bad depending on your preferences. So moving on to the last bag, we'll start out, I guess, with the, I believe, 3 new pieces. Since this set is pretty new, there is not an inventory readily available for it yet. So we have the new Beast, I guess, mask or headpiece. It's interesting in that it is asymmetric. This one is molded in transparent neon green and earth blue. Very striking contrast in there. It attaches to the head just like the masks do, with the 2 little kind of friction ball areas that go on the side of the mask. And I think it looks nice and sharp and contrasting. Very definitely asymmetrical and bestial. Kind of carries along that crystal motif from some of the armor pieces we had in the first wave of 2016 Bionicle sets in the TOA. So it's kind of cool to see that continuing. Then to complement the new mask, we've got the Beast Jaw. This has 2 Technic axle holes, and those are the only 2 connection points on here. Again, it has a bit of an asymmetric design with kind of that crystal motif again, so matches up really well with the mask, and you can see when they go together that they kind of join together really well and definitely look like they belong with one another. Then I believe the last new piece in the set is the new crystal armor piece. I don't think this was in any of the first half Bionicle sets from 2016. This one is in transparent light blue. Again, we've got some asymmetry going on here, but a very nice looking piece. It has 1 socket on it that you can use to connect it to any of the construction buildable figure beams that we have. That is the only connection point on it, which does kind of limit it a little bit. I feel like I would prefer if this was just like one of the kind of armor add-ons with the 2 pegs that could fit on top of one of the normal armor pieces, like if it could just go on top. So moving on now to the recolors, we've got the number 4 armor piece in earth blue, so that's cool. I believe this is new in this color, so that's very nice. We have got the armor shell piece here. Black is not a new color for it, but it does have a new printing with a really kind of electric blue on it and that kind of neon orange, providing a lot of contrast. And it looks, again, has that crystal motif to help give the beast his look. And then I believe the last recolor we have is Kopaka's mask. So this is the Kopaka mask from earlier this year in the Kopaka and Milim set. But this time he is cast in white and transparent neon green. Still has the place where you can put a 1x1 stud in the eye, but this set does not include one of those to put in there. So it's up to you as far as what color you want to put in there. Definitely quite a bit of mixing in the colors here. You can see on the top of the white goes quite a ways back into the trans neon green, but because it is such a light color, the trans neon green kind of swallows it up and gives it an interesting look that you don't always see in these dual molded parts when one of the colors is not white. But other than that, it is just Kopaka's mask. I do like the look of it. I think the trans neon green works pretty well with the white. We also have the torso piece. I believe this actually is new. I think I almost forgot about this. So this is, instead of having the new connector on the bottom like the first half TOA sets had from 2016 for the waist swiveling function, he has a pretty normal 3 ball joints on here, but at the top just has some kind of Technic beam connection points. So I feel like this is going to be a really versatile piece that can be used in a lot of different mocks, not just for, you know, bipedal figures, but in a lot of different things. So it's really cool. And this is a fairly small piece. It's only, what, 2, 4, 7 modules high and 5 wide. So it is one of the smaller torso pieces we have. Don't want to forget that. Let's see, other pieces that stand out. We've got the skeleton armor that appeared in Skull Warrior last year in the transparent light blue. We've got some of the large beast feet from Invasion from Below Hero Factory, as well as the smaller ones. I believe there's just one of the 2 of the smaller ones and 2 of the big ones. We've got the Shadow Trap pieces in the dark gunmetal gray color. Again, not new. Those were in the earlier sets. We've got the head piece. This is a recolor in the transparent neon green. I believe it appears in this color in several of these summer sets. And you know, we've got some normal construction beams, nothing recolored, so nothing else really to stand out here. But a good variety. Not as nearly as much earth blue as I would have liked. Just these 3 shells, and then of course in the mask a little bit. But you know, some more earth blue would have been really awesome. You know, it seems like a decent variety, but it almost feels like there's not too many construction pieces all total, or maybe they're just all kind of more of the specialized type, and there's just a lot of the Technic variety. But I'm interested to see what that means for the finished set. So with that, let's get to building. And here we've got the completed Storm Beast set. You know, definitely, like I was kind of thinking by looking at the parts, a very Technic heavy build. You could say it's got a lot of custom designs to it. So for example, you can see the lower legs here are not actually Technic beams. They've got the 2 module beam with the ball joint and the socket connected with these half beams to kind of give it an interesting little shape there. But you know, not using just normal Technic beams, so that's kind of nice. They add a little Technic bit to the back of the foot for some additional shaping and potentially stability. On the back, it is very Technic heavy. So it doesn't look very pretty from the back because of all that Technic stuff. But you know, that adds a lot to the play features, which we'll show off in a moment. So the arms, lacking a little bit in the posability. They only have shoulder and I guess kind of wrist or elbow articulation because the hands are awfully big. Again, with the kind of custom aspect, they use the smaller creature foot for the hand. I like the way it looks and the way they kind of achieve the opposable thumb, and you do have some good articulation there on each of the fingers, although having the empty socket out here, not the best. One of the other things that kind of, I think, detracts from the Technic aspect is that as a result, you have a lot of these red Technic axles kind of exposed in the build, which are a bit jarring with the color scheme. Maybe that would work all right with Lava Beast, but not so much with Storm Beast. So, I think the color scheme works out well. I think the transparent light blue with the transparent neon green and the earth blue adds some contrast, but not too much that it seems like it is, kind of overbearing. And then it works in well with the mask here. So I think overall the colors are nice, but maybe a little bit too much kind of focus on the Technic build. It's one thing to have it in the back for the play feature, but maybe a little less Technic on the arms and legs to kind of keep it a little more streamlined with that, kind of in keeping with the new Bionicle aesthetic, which is a much more smooth kind of build versus the classic Bionicle. So I guess we'll move on a little bit to the play features. So first off, we've got the new mask and the jaw. I think they work out pretty well together. I thought that the jaw piece was flipped because I didn't pay close enough attention to the box, but it doesn't look too bad. He looks like he's got this gaping mouth. He's going to eat you, and then if you're I guess the Toa and you can catch him under the chin and flip that up, that launches the mask off, revealing his head. I do like getting the headpiece recolored, but I think the trans neon green on top of the trans neon green is a little much, and I think having a solid color head would have been fine, even if it had been a recolor, say earth blue. That would have been pretty awesome. Or a different color for the eyes could have worked as well. Moving on to the back, Storm Beast does have a tail. It only has a couple points of articulation, and it uses the shadow trap pieces here. There's not a lot of friction on these. The shadow traps usually used a click hinge piece in between here to keep it closed. This does not. It just uses these Technic pins with the balls on them to kind of connect the pieces, and so as a result, this moves pretty easily. The main feature, of course, is this whole Technic contraption here. You may be wondering kind of what that does. Here, well, let me reset a little bit so we can show that off. Okay, so showing this off a little bit, you can see we have these two kind of connector pieces going from the shoulders down to the tail, so that when you move the tail in different ways, the arms will move. So for example, if I move the tail, if I swing it back and forth, the arms will alternate, kind of similar to some iterations of Anua, or Gali from the original sets, where their arms would go back and forth when you turn the gear on their back. So that's kind of cool. But alternatively, if you kind of move the tail up, both arms will move in unison. And you do have to make sure that you have it kind of centered, otherwise you're going to get different amounts of movement. But you can move them both up, and then you can do like kind of different kind of combinations of movements by kind of spinning the tail around in different directions. So the tail has one point where it can move up and down, and another where it can move side to side. That allows you to have a whole bunch of different movements. So looking at him from the front, you can see that he can do all sorts of different things. So I think it's definitely an awesome play feature, one of the coolest I've seen in a smaller Bionicle set. And of course, he has Kopaka's mask that, let's see, can you grasp it in his hand? So you can grasp that in his hand or in the tail. I really like that play feature. I think it's really solid. I think it makes for a kind of really cool thing versus just having, an arm swing up and down or the hip twist. It definitely adds something new to Bionicle in terms of the playability, and it kind of sets him apart from the other creatures. So even though the overall aesthetic, I know a lot of people haven't been super excited about, and I do think there does seem to be kind of overall a lot of like bareness to these sets. The lower legs don't have any sort of armor. The lower arms have this empty socket and no armor. And on the back, they do add this piece here, which is also kind of used to hold it together, and it does fill it in. I mean, it's not like it's really gapey, especially from the side. It's not like it's a lot of gapey and holy like some Hero Factory and older Bionicle sets were. But it is not as clean as some of the other construction sets we've seen recently, especially Star Wars. Obviously, that's a different theme with different design goals. Are going more for realism in those sets versus Bionicle. But it is still still something that I think a lot of the older fans like to see. One kind of downfall to this awesome playability is that it can be hard to keep the tail in a certain position. So while there is a socket joint here that you can move the arms in, sometimes just a little knock on the tail will move that around and make it a little difficult to keep him in a position that you want. But if you play around with him enough and you're just going to put him on display on a shelf, you can definitely achieve some nice poses. But I think this is a kid's toy, and from a playability perspective, I think it's probably one of the best playabilities in one of the smaller Bionicle figures that we have seen. And by smaller, I mean $20 and under. So obviously some of the larger Rahi sets from back in the day and things like Umrak do add some more play features in them. But for a small buildable figure, I think it has a lot of playability. So overall, as far as whether or not you should pick up Storm Beast, I have not played with the final versions of the other beasts, but I did get to check them out at Toy Fair, and they all seem like they are quite different in their playability and play features. I think Storm Beast appealed to me the most with his kind of almost like marionette abilities with the tail moving, the arms in lots of different directions. So if you're looking to pick up like just one of the beasts, this is my personal favorite from the limited experience I've had with the other two. From a parts perspective, he's much harder to recommend. I do like that we have the claws in the trans neon green. I do like the 3 module armor shells in earth blue, but those are really the only pieces that I would say are unique and stand out enough that would be kind of worth buying this set for, just from a parts perspective. The printed chest armor, while nice, does limit his reusability, unfortunately. There's lots of Technic pieces if you don't have a lot of those in your collection, but pretty much all the basic construction pieces are ones you probably have a whole bunch of. So I would say that this set is definitely for the Bionicle completist, for the younger person or the person who really likes to play with their Bionicle toys. This is definitely, I think, one of the best of the summer sets for that. Or someone who's interested in, kind of learning some more about Technic builds, because the build was pretty engaging from a Technic perspective, much more so than a traditional Hero Factory or Bionicle build, since the CCBS system came into play. The custom aspects do have their disadvantages in the final set, but from a building perspective, I think it's much more fun. So it's definitely a trade-off. It depends on what you're looking for. I know some people aren't fans of the aesthetic of these, but to each their own. I am not disappointed with Storm Beast. I really love the play feature, and I enjoyed the build. And I probably will pick up more copies of him for more of these Earth Blue shells. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Hopefully it helped you learn a little bit about the summer Bionicle sets and some of the features that they have to offer. With luck, you will be able to make an informed decision about which ones you want to buy. If you want to learn more about Storm Beast, I suggest you check out the full review we have on BZPower.com, where we will have text, high-res images of all these new and recolored parts, and we'll go into even more depth on our opinions of the set. And of course, while you're there, make sure you check out the rest of BZPower, where we have got some active message boards. We've got news posted on the front page daily, covering Bionicle, Ninjago, Nexonites, and a whole variety of LEGO themes. and people are sharing their creations, playing games, talking about LEGO in general. Great community if you are interested in entering the greater world of the LEGO fandom. And finally, if you could like this video and subscribe to our channel, we'd greatly appreciate it, and it will allow you to get our videos as soon as we post them in the future. So, until next time, this is Black6 from BZPower, signing off.